This is TVC News Hour. I am William Misidada with Business Update. Toyota will make its patents for hydrogen fuel cell cars available to competitors. I take that again. Toyota will make its patent for hydrogen fuel cells available to competitors for free in an attempt to spur the market for cars that use the technology. The offer comes as Toyota prepares to begin selling the first commercially marketed fuel cell cars, the Toyota Mirai. Bob Carter, a senior vice president with Toyota in the U.S., said at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas that the company's 170 patents for hydrogen fuel cell filling stations will be made available for free without limitations till 2020. Carter said Toyota expects to build only about 700 of the cars this year. Hydrogen fuel cell cars emit only harmless water vapor. Samsung's challenger to Google Android software is moving from phones to big screen TVs as it tries to capitalize on the rising interest in smart homes. Samsung is set to unveil the first sets powered by Tizen software at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas this week. The company says it wants to generate revenue from Tizen applications and services, just as Apple and Google do from their operating systems. Samsung is trying to reinvent itself as a supplier of internet-connected appliances to grab share of a market that may be worth $7.1 trillion by 2020. And now for further discussion on the tech world, I have with me here Benjamin Semola. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Now, tell us about the software by Samsung and how it is going to change the electronic landscape.
With the current developments, knowing that everything is going smart, the last year review in December by the World Body of Technology Builders pointed to the fact that by the end of this year, we're going to have about 5.7 billion smart devices. And that will also include the mobile phone that are going smart, the fridges and the microwaves and the TVs. If you look at the advent or the evolution in the flat screen world, gone are the days when we were just looking at the CRT, the LCD, everything went smart about 2 years ago. But coming down to the operating system, because what makes any device smart is not about the design. It's about the functionality. It's about what is running at the background of that hardware. Now, we know, of course, that Apple had conveniently been able to have the iOS that have run for several years now on both the iPod, moved to the iTouch, to the iPhone, to the iPad, and then we have it also on the Mac operating system. And Android also came off from Google, knowing that you cannot just leave a single person to be the major player. But the drama that occurred was the fact that the iOS is a closed-ended operating system. The Android is an open source operating system. So you had more people, more manufacturers of hardware, they're able to bundle this operating system on their devices free of charge. And then you have developer of applications, software developers, programmers now having access to be able to develop application. It is the application you have running on these devices that make them smart. For example, you need to do XYZ. You definitely need to have an application that could do that. So having it as open source really gave Android a very good entrance into the smart world space. Now, I know last year Tizen was tried on the smart world, like the one I have here. When I saw it at first, I was like, wow, what's Samsung trying to do? Because now, you know, if you have a single provider in control of this software also, then we are looking at a monopolistic environment. Some of us have been so concerned that if we are going to have a problem with Android, what happens to the smart devices we have all around us now? And I sense that the board of Samsung is also thinking in that direction, that it's rather best to also come out with a giant leap to also have their own independent operating system, which is the Tizen that we're talking about now. It's been tested on the smart wristwatches and is working beautifully well. So they don't want to try deploying that on the smartphones, so they are moving it now to the big screen, the TVs. And of course, if you look at the features, everybody have a unique selling point. Part of what they have also done is to make it an open source. So that will make several developers all around the globe to come up with application, meaning then that the likes of the LGs we have today, still running some other operating systems that are not open source, because if you buy a particular TV today now, they are generational. If you buy the 2014 model of a particular brand, yes, if you are going to the shop next year, you ask for 2016 model, and the implication is that you cannot upgrade them. You have to now buy a new set because the operating system are locked up to those devices. With the advent of Tizen, what Samsung is doing is that you can now do an upgrade, like you have the Jelly Bean on the Android migrated to KitKat, migrated to Lollipop. You can now also have that on Tizen, and then you now have several applications that will be able to now run on the smart TV.
All right,
devices.
so in other words, we should expect a lot more
from Samsung.
Not only from Samsung, but the electronic world generally, especially this year.
And I'm seeing a situation whereby there will be a very stiff competition in terms of monetary gain, considering the fact that it's an open source. So several other manufacturers of this big screen may also opt out for Tizen.
Let me quickly ask you this question before I wrap up. I read a report some time ago that says that all these smart devices make it such that it is easy to monitor those who use it. How true is that? That as long as you use any smart device, there is something wired into it that you can be monitored from any part of the world.
As long as you employ the current technology, your privacy is not exclusive anymore. And that's why we have privacy clauses, which is the reason why you see court cases here and there about, recently we heard that the iCloud of iOS has been explored by hackers and individual data have been stolen. The same way, because what makes a device smart is the fact that it's able to associate with a network beyond its own reach. Now, for that to happen, there must be a connection to the internet. By that, I mean you are going to pick up an identity which comes in form of a binary number that we know an IP address. So with that, it's possible. That's why if you have a smartphone with you right now, by the location service being present on it, I can know that you're in TVC in Lagos. If you move to Dubai or you move to Lebanon or you move to US, I can track your location. But the fact is that the entire world currently, we're also looking at. It's beautiful we have the technology, but what about privacy issues? So I see a situation whereby you are very
all right, we'll leave that for some other time. I must thank you for coming on our news. I've been speaking with Benjamin Semola, looking at the electronic world in the year 2015. Moving on now, crude oil prices dipped further in the world market on Tuesday. The new drop in U.S. and global benchmarks of about 5% was accompanied by reports of increased Middle Eastern oil exports, continuing increases in the United States production, and renewed worries about the declining economic fortunes in Europe. At the London market, the Brent trades low at $53 per barrel in early trade. OPEC Brent price stays downward at $51 per barrel. All marketers fear that plunging oil prices is a bad omen for global economy. That is in Business Update. I am William Isidada. Sports Update is next, and that will be after the break. Stay with us.